Have you ever felt like, you know what, my adulting, it's just not going right? I'm losing at this thing called adulting. Well, honey, I have a story this week that's just going to make you feel like you are crushing it because I absolutely sucked at it. Let's get into it. Hello, world. Come inside the Dear Juju podcast. You know, I curled my hair and it just happened that this big old bouffant started and I just love it. I am wearing first and foremost Marie Monson earrings. She's my girl. She owns Recess and she has an earring line that is to die for. I mean, I wish that there was sparkle cam because they look just like white because they're all blown out. When you go in the sun, sparkles like your soul. Oh my God, I'm fasting. Did you hear my stomach growl? Okay, get ready for what happened to me this week. My daughter had a virus. She got sick and it locked up her hip. My daughter could not walk. I had to carry her everywhere. It was super scary because she's not like that at all. Her hip was completely locked. Now, the doctor said this could either be because of a viral infection and it got kind of stuck in her hip. It's like tight hip something. And it's either ibuprofen or it could be this other thing where she needs immediate surgery. I'm like, girl, for real? We're just going from 0 to 100 real fast? And she's like, listen, you have to rule out the surgical thing. So you need to go to Children's Hospital and just figure it out. For my daughter, anything. I come home, I get all 3 iPads. That's right. I said it, 3. I was so prepared. I had 3 headphones in case they all died. I didn't know what was charged. And I'm like, let's just go and do it and get it done. We go. Now, you know the ER with children, it's about, well, if you don't know, it's hours. Okay. It's hours that you have to wait. Sometimes 5 is like the minimum. That's like a good day. I've had moms have horror stories of 13 and 18 in the waiting room of ERs. So I brought all the things. Now we're in the waiting room. The crackers that I brought had gotten out and the iPads were all crunching on them. Then her water bottle was spilled everywhere. It was disgusting. Like kids' bags can get so gross. So the crackers are all broken up and nasty. And then they're getting wet from the water bottle that spilled. So I take everything out of my bag. And my daughter's just happy as a clam watching her iPad. And I'm like, I'm going to clean out this bag. I open the trash can, I dump the bag over, and I go like this, right? Because it's gross. I don't even want to touch it. We have wet, mushy crackers, dry crackers, water. Then I hear a little clink, and I was like, oh, what was that? And I look in, and I even moved stuff in the trash can, and there were 2 Coke cans. And I was like, oh, those clinked. All right. Didn't even think about it. 5 hours later. So we see the doctor. It ends up being the no big deal one, ibuprofen. Great. I'm so relieved. It's now midnight. It's been about 6 hours. We finally get discharged. We go down. I'm like, I just can't wait to take a bath. You know how you feel in hospitals, just like there's germs all over your body in the ER with kids everywhere. I'm just like, I just want to go home and wash this off. Okay? I go to the car. You don't even need your key anymore, right? Like as soon as it gets close, it just opens for you. And I'm like, why is this not opening? I look in the stroller. There's no keys. I look in the bag. There's no keys. I go trace my steps back into the room. All this stuff. They let me back. No key anywhere. Then I go into the waiting room and I see the trash can. And my gut, I get all the energy in my gut. And I'm like, oh shit, dude, was that clank my frickin' car key? I'm like, I'm going to have to go through this trash right now. I open up the can. New trash bin. I can't even go through the trash if I wanted to. Then they tell me that they can't go through the trash because it's like a hazard of some kind, a biohazard. So my husband comes and picks us up. Here's the thing, okay? The debacle, that's where it just begins. The key, it's a Lexus, is sold out everywhere in the United States, back ordered for 3 months. So we can't get a second key. By the way, when we just bought the car, they only gave us 1 key because it's back ordered. So they can't get a key. Then I tried to get it towed the next day, and the clearance, no tow truck can go down there. I called 3 times. There was one locksmith who had the key in America. He couldn't even do it because it's a dead zone down there. It's an emergency SOS, flat out dead zone, and you need Wi-Fi. And then the AAA, not 1, not 2, but 3 trucks tried to come in. They don't meet the clearance. I'm like, how the bejesus am I going to get this car out of this freaking garage? And then I feel horrible because I threw the damn key away. Are you kidding me? Anyways, after days, a low clearance tow truck, which I learned a lot, okay? If you're ever in a parking garage, you need a low clearance tow truck. There's one in Los Angeles. He's got a monopoly on this game. He's in Santa Monica. He was the nicest guy. He came and saved the day. Oh my God. The whole weekend, I was like, I have kids that depend on me. I can't even keep it together and not throw away a key. And of course, my son is telling everyone, she threw the key away. I'm like, thanks. Thanks, Rocco. So that was my week. It's not just the losing of the key. Then it's the $1,000 key replacement. Then it's the $1,000 low tow truck. Then it's the, and then on top of that, it's just feeling like a freaking loser. All's well as it ends well. I think we're going to get the tow repaid. I think we're going to get the keys for free. This was a debacle and a half. Mom of the Year award. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what are we watching? I've decided, you know what? That's it. That's it. I'm going to start watching TV shows again. Like my kids, they can't quite wipe their own ass yet, but we're close. So I started watching the Palm Royale. Oh, and the queen herself, my ultimate queen of the world, Carol Burnett. There's a scene in the Palm Royale where she said, "You don't have what it takes. You don't have the pizzazz. You don't have the do or die sparkle." And that was coincidentally the same day that I put out Squirt Your Sparkle. Okay, the mantra of Dear Juju. And I said, told my husband, look, honey, me and Carol Burnett. That's it, honey. We're kind of the same cloth, honey. It's all about the do or die sparkle. So when I was in the midst of it, after the 3rd tow truck, I dug down deep and I found my do or die sparkle. And I am not taking no for an answer. I'm not going home to my husband. I'm not going home to my kids until I find a tow truck that can pull this thing out of there. Honey, then I started just Googling and calling and, because I had these men telling me, no, it's not possible. No, it's not possible. And I'm thinking, honey, do you know? Do you know where there's a will, there's a way? Baby. Honey, so I got my do or die sparkle and I found it. And then I almost cried when the low clearance tow truck actually pulled me out there. He was like, Mem, are you crying? He was an Indian guy. I said, yes, I am. It's only been 3 days and I've been trying to find you. So yes, I am so happy that my do or die sparkle squirted it all over that situation. Took 3 days. Took a lot of crying too. I broke down. I was like, I'm a loser. I can't even take my daughter to the ER without fucking the whole weekend. Like, oh yeah, I spiraled. It was also my girl time a little bit before, but it's okay to spiral. Now, I heard a really good analogy. Have you guys heard of this? Oh, well, let me tell you. The situation is syrup, and they say that women pancake and men waffle. So what does that mean? Men waffle, meaning that, the little squares in the waffle, they can compartmentalize. Where women, the syrup just runs all over the pancake. Okay. It's like, not only did we just lose the key and that's it. It could happen to anyone. No, it's like, I lost the key and I'm sucking at life and nothing's going right. And what's happening? And I'm a loser and da-da. Ah! So make sure that your sparkle doesn't turn into a spiral. I think we can learn something from the sexes. Each sex can learn something from each other and all the sexes, okay? And I think from men, we can learn maybe to waffle a little more. You know what I mean? Keep that syrup in the crease. Can't see my boobs in there. Moving on. All right, let's talk about some cocktails, some cooking. Let's talk about get some yummy tummy. I would like to say RIP to one of the best pastas I have ever had in my mouth at Terroni. This is my favorite pasta, okay? It's a Reginette Gorgonzola a Salsiccia. Now, what it does is it has Italian sausage that's a little bit spicy, and it's broken up into all these little clumps. And I think they put a little bit of tomato paste in there. Then they do Gorgonzola dolce. Now, did you know that there's two, if you get a DOP from Gorgonzola from Italy, there's dolce, and then there's another one that's a little more, I think, sour and tart. But the dolce is one that you can use for a cheese board or pasta. It's a little sweeter. They use Gorgonzola dolce, and basically the Gorgonzola melts in with the hot sausage and just creates this sauce. Then they slice some radicchio really thin, throw it in the pan, and flash basically cook it. And then Reginette is a long ribbon pasta with waves on the side. And it was the most interesting, flavorful, delicious pasta. And I've never seen anything like that. I mean, there's so much content online with pasta. I have never seen a Reginette Gorgonzola a Salsiccia. And that's what I've been making. That's what I've been making for my pasta. Anytime I make pasta, I'm making a Reginette Gorgonzola a Salsiccia. What am I drinking? Everything. No, I've really been into every time that it starts heating up. I love Lambrusco. Also, to credit Terroni, one of the best Italian restaurants in LA. It's my favorite. They were the ones to teach me about Lambrusco. It is an Italian red wine. That's the name of that grape, Lambrusco grape. And the thing is it's from a couple of regions in Italy, one of them being Lombardy. That's how it's got its name, Lambrusco. Now, it ranges and varies of secco, which is really dry, which is kind of my favorite, all the way till dolce, which is very sweet. There's one for $4.99 at Trader Joe's that's a little on the sweeter side, but actually very good with pizza in the summer. The one that I love the most is at Whole Foods, and it comes in a can. I know, you're like, what is up with her and the cans? Honey, can I am. I love a can because it's like a mommy juice. First of all, you don't have to open up a whole bottle, because then if I open it, honey, I'm not wasteful. I drink the whole thing, and then I recycle. I'm good. But I opened 2 cans, which is roughly half a bottle. And I'm good for the night. So 2 cans of that mommy juice is all you need. And it's red, but you serve it chilled, and it's fizzy on the palate. It's really nice to have in the springtime when we're going from like a cool situation. That's where I want to look down and have a red. But then it gets hot sometimes, so you want a chilled red and a fizziness. It gives spring. Love a Lambrusco. One of the trends in decor that I am absolutely obsessed with is a matte stone-washed wall. Oh, I love this. They're saying that glossy is out. Now, I still think that glossy can be done right if it's cheeky and if it's cool. But yeah, they're saying that stone-washed, muted tone texture on the walls. Instead of just painting your walls, the next time you go, I'm going to paint this room, try doing a stone-wash paint. There's actually paint that you can get that looks stone-wash with a technique. And this is what you want to do if you want your home to feel like a Tuscan retreat. Right? So you think of like the baked walls of the Mediterranean that's just been like blasted by the sun. That's what it gives me. So it gives me very much a vibe of like stone washed and cobble streets with like a muted color, because you want it to look, even if it's orange, you want it to be like really muted and toned down so that it looks like it was baked for 100 years on the sidewalks of the Tuscan Isles. Tuscany's not an island. Also, I think we should all be prepared for a terracotta tile takeover. Now, I think this can be done too much on the inside, where if you're doing stone wash walls and terracotta tiles, then it feels like you brought the outside in and not in a good way. So it definitely needs to be like little splashes, and it needs to still feel indoors, because terracotta tiles feel a little bit masculine. and they feel outdoorsy. So just pair it then with like ultra feminine or shinier things so that it can tone it down a little bit. And do not do the sewn wash walls with the terracotta. People will be like, I think you got the room wrong. This is outside decor. But a lot of people are using this in their dining room as the tiles. It's a little cold if you ask me. I don't think I would be doing that or love that very much. But if it's like anything, if it's done right, okay? All right. Let's ask Juju. Let's get into some questions, shall we? Dear Juju, advice on how to find the right therapist for you. Let me tell you, I have been through a lot of therapists. Couples, individual, one for anxiety, one for my kids. I love therapy. Now, the way to find the right one for you, one is good word of mouth. You want to ask your friends, hey, do you guys have a therapist that you really trust? Usually a recommendation is the first place to start rather than just trying to throw a needle in the haystack in the internet. And then second, make sure that even in that therapist relationship, you have to make sure that you're listening to your gut. I've been in therapy where I'm like, when my dad died and this lady said, maybe try planting a tree. I was like, girl, do you know how much issues I have? The tree is not going to help. So I was like, I'm out of here. She's dumber than dirt. So you also have to listen to your gut on who you're vibing with. And the thing is, a good therapist will also provoke you to think afterwards. One of my best therapists that I've ever been with, we would have our session and then afterwards, I would have these connections of thoughts and behavioral and patterns that would just, afterwards, the more I thought about it, I was connecting the dots on so many levels. So that's a good therapist. So for one, get a good recommendation. And then two, as always, listen to your gut. If they're not vibing with them, leave, okay? And a sign of a good therapist as well, in my opinion, is someone who can lead you to see a blind spot that you have. Not exactly force feed you or give you like, oh, this is what you should do. But here's the thing with therapy. You're only in there for 1 hour and it's expensive. So you have to do the work outside of that and there's so many great resources online to go into your resentments, maybe journaling, take you through steps of grief, take you through steps of confusion. There's a lot of videos as well online that you could be doing the work, doing your meditations, doing your list and writing out what's blocking you and then pondering on that, talking to girlfriends, talking to your family, talking to people that can help you also see your blind spots. Because I swear, if you asked your family and your 3 best friends, what do you think that your blind spot is? Oh, honey, you will be shocked at the response. So finding a good therapist is also about you doing the work. And there's a lot, the whole world is available to us now. So there's so much that you can also do online for introspective work. Dear Juju, how do I stop procrastinating and stay laser focused on work while working from home on my business? Okay, here's how you do this. I've read a lot about this. You do what's natural for humans. So I've read that you can work really hard and stay laser focused for 45 minutes. Then you take a 15-minute break. So to stay laser focused, no one can stay laser focused for like freaking 8 hours. That's too much. So doing these little breaks is a great way to feel refreshed and renewed when you go back to that 45-minute work. So, we got a supercomputer in our hand. Set a 45-minute timer. You sit there and you literally work and do whatever you need to do until the timer goes off. Timer goes off. Set a 15-minute timer, then you leave. You leave your workspace. You go outside, you make a cup of coffee, you take a deep breath, right? Take a crap, whatever you need to do. Then when you step back into your workspace, you do it again for 45 minutes. So taking these breaks and giving yourself a little bit of breathing room helps then to stay renewed and laser focused. Also, they say the night before to write down your one most important thing that you can do that day and maybe 2 others. So 3 things a day max. Number 1, make this. Number 2, edit this or create this. Number 3, call this person. That's it. Don't be giving yourself 4, 5, 6 because that's how you get overwhelmed. 3 a day. How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Dear Juju, if I send you pictures of my New York apartment, can you help me pick out the chicest wallpaper? Duh! You're a man. So I would pick for you a really foggy mural of a forest with maybe some monkeys. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting. What level of fabulous do you rank yourself? 11 for me, honey. Damn straight. Dear Juju, who inspires you dance-wise and fashion-wise? Oh, who inspires me dance-wise? Bob Fosse, choreographer and director extraordinaire. I really love choreographers that also think like directors because that's how I think. And I'm always referencing him. He is so inspirational. The way he used the camera had its own choreography, and then the dancers had their own choreography, and the way that they intertwined was just old Hollywood dance numbers as well. Sweet Charity is one of my favorites that I am constantly referencing for inspiration, constantly. And who inspires me fashion-wise? Let me tell you who wins the internet, period. Areta, at Areta, Aureta, period, the end paragraph. She wins the internet. Her fashion, her style, her class, her demeanor. She is definitely something that I am not. She's quiet. You know nothing about her. No one sees her speak, and she's perfection. Her fashion, her photos. But also, fashion-wise, I'm very inspired by the 1950s and the 1960s. I mean, and a little bit of the 70s, but more really, I'm a 1960s, I think is the sweet spot, where we got into the glamour of, the home life and the mama glamorama. Yeah, and vintage, definitely. Dear Juju, you are the coolest. Oh, thanks. How do you authentically be so yourself? It's very interesting. This is a very interesting question to me. I think I'm really honest with myself, and I'm just as honest with others. It's gotten me in trouble a little bit because it can get you in trouble because we like to be the filters of the world. But I think to live authentically is to be authentic, what does that mean? Be honest with yourself. Know when you have fucked up royally. Know when you're wrong. Know when you're acting like a loser. Know when you're being a little sissy. Know when you're playing the victim. All those things. But then also know, it's easy to focus on what we do right. Well, from like, oh, I have this talent, this talent, this talent. And this is where I'm not good. Here and here and here and here and here. So to thy own self be true. Always listen. Be honest, and then move forward accordingly. If I like these earrings with this, I'm just going to wear it because I like it. I don't care what anyone else says. I like it. I like my hair in these big old bouffants. Some might call it like old fashioned looking or whatever. I don't care. I freaking love it. I feel glamorous. I feel very like in my feminine. That's how I go with, I listen and then I do. It's very simple. Honestly. And sometimes the most simple things are the hardest things. But you have to be honest with yourself. And then you have to listen to yourself. And then you can act accordingly. Like a lot of people who try to fake the funk then get found out, right? So it's just easier if you live truthfully and honestly. And you're open and honest about your positives and your negatives. And that's how you live authentically. You're just like, no, I don't like that. Hey, I'm not good at that. All right, that's the show. Try making that sausage and Gorgonzola pasta. It's divine. Get a bottle of Lambrusco next time you're at the wine shop or next time you're at the grocery store. Pop it in the fridge. When you feel the bubbles on your tongue, you'll go, damn, that dear Juju knows what she's talking about. And yeah, don't throw your keys away in the trash. Don't forget that you're a star and do something today that acts it or proves it, or maybe just say it. Just say it. Look at yourself in the mirror. I do this all the time in the car. And I say, you know what, baby? You're a star. So try it. Have some fun. Mwah! I love ya. And I'm out.